Today I will tell you a story. The story is titled, Corky Tries to be a Chef, Sniffing Everything I Cook. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you appreciate me. You can skip this if you don't like this video. Thank you very much. The story begins as follows. The day started just like any other, sunlight sliding gently across the kitchen floor, my slippers half awake, and me mumbling my way toward the fridge. But today wasn't just an ordinary morning. Today, my little cat Corky officially declared himself head chef of the household. The moment I opened the fridge, I heard the soft tap, tap, tap of tiny paws approaching with purpose. Corky sat proudly beside me, eyes wide like he'd been preparing for this culinary moment all his life. His tail swayed left and right, the signature sign that he was about to cause chaos or supervise my cooking very seriously. I pulled out the ingredients for breakfast: eggs, butter, a few veggies. And of course, Corky had to sniff each one as if he were performing a quality check at a Michelin star restaurant. He stretched his nose forward, sniffed dramatically, and then looked up at me like, "Proceed." Approved. But the funniest part came when I cracked the eggs into the bowl. The sound made Corky jump up onto the counter, even though he knows he's not allowed. He leaned forward, curious, and his whiskers twitched so fast they could have whisked the eggs themselves. I gently nudged him away, but he just circled back, determined to watch every step. While I whisked, Corky sat beside the bowl like a tiny furry guardian. Every time I added a new ingredient, he sniffed, blinked, and looked at me like, interesting choice, chef. When the pan sizzled, Corky's eyes widened in pure amazement. I could practically hear his inner voice saying, "Magic! The food is singing." By the time breakfast was ready, Corky was sitting proudly as if he helped cook every bit of it. I placed a small treat for him on his plate, and he sniffed it thoroughly, as expected, before eating it happily. Meanwhile, I enjoyed my omelet with the warm feeling that mornings are just better with Corky supervising. If the morning was cute chaos, the afternoon was an entire cooking show starring one spoiled feline with too much curiosity. I decided to meal prep a bit: pasta, grilled chicken, and a veggie soup. The moment the cutting board hit the counter, Corky came running like he'd been summoned. His head poked around the corner first, then the rest of him followed in a confident strut. He hopped onto his observation stool. Yes, he has one, and leaned over as I chopped ingredients. Every slice of carrot got sniffed. Every leaf of spinach received a suspicious squint. When I opened the container of chicken, he perked up so fast I thought he'd audition for a commercial. He sniffed the air intensely, then looked at me like, "Are you sure that's for you and not for me?" The funniest moment of the afternoon was when I dropped one tiny spiral of uncooked pasta on the floor. Corky pounced on it like it was a living creature. He sniffed it, pawed it, rolled it across the kitchen floor dramatically, then sat down proudly beside it like he had just discovered a new species. While the soup simmered, Corky stationed himself in front of the pot, rising on his hind legs every few seconds just to sniff the steam. I swear he looked like a tiny furry dragon absorbing magical mist. Unfortunately for him, the smell was just vegetables, but he made it seem like he was inhaling the essence of life. Once again, every dish had to pass the Corky inspection. Pasta? Sniffed. Chicken? Sniffed twice. Soup? Sniffed. Judged, approved. In his little world, I was the sous chef and he was the culinary mastermind. Dinner time arrived, and I was tired, but Corky was full of energy, pacing around the kitchen like a chef waiting for customer reviews. I opened the fridge to grab ingredients for stir-fry, and as usual, Corky squeezed his head inside as if he owned the place. Every item I touched, he sniffed. Every spice jar I shook, he followed with focused eyes. While I cooked, Corky moved around me like a fluffy shadow. I could hear his tiny, curious breaths every time something sizzled or boiled. At one point, he sat right beside my foot and watched the pan like he was learning to recreate the dish later. When dinner was ready, Corky sat down calmly, almost ceremoniously, waiting for his tiny treat. I gave him a safe little snack, and of course, he sniffed it 4 times before eating. Then he looked up at me with that satisfied face that said, "Another successful day as head chef." As I sat down that night, watching Corky grooming himself proudly after his long work day, I couldn't help but smile. His constant curiosity, his willingness to observe everything, and his excitement over the smallest details reminded me of something important. Life becomes more enjoyable when we allow ourselves to be curious, too. In our busy routines, we often rush through things, cooking, eating, working, living, without really noticing the little moments. Quirky, with his tiny nose and big sense of wonder, turns every moment in the kitchen into a mini adventure. He reminds me that joy can be found in the most ordinary things, like the sound of sizzling oil or the smell of fresh vegetables. And that's something we can all bring into our daily lives. Slow down a little. Enjoy the process, not just the result. Find interest in things you do every day, even the routines that seem repetitive. When you approach life with curiosity, like Quirky sniffing everything, you'll find more reasons to smile. So my advice, be present, be curious, and allow small moments to make your day brighter. Just like Quirky, let your natural curiosity guide you toward joy, warmth, and a little everyday magic.